Hello friends, this is Steve Hall with Spectrum Environmental Solutions. Today I'm going to show you how to put in our 7.5 centimeter cell. Basically we're going to swap cells on our WaveRunIR EXT. One of the first things that you want to do is to check the signal going through the 10 meter cell. That's because you're going to want to know that signal and make sure when you put the 7.5 centimeter in, you should actually have a little bit more signal. Or you may want to dial it down to purposely misalign it to have the same signal so you don't have to really reset the linearity on the detectors. But what I like to do to check the signal is in New Wave, just the second tool down under Tools, click on it, and use a program called Omnic. If you click on that, it should open up and connect. And then I just like to hit Control and then E. But you could also go, if you didn't want to do that, you could also go through Collect and Experiment Setup. And then hit the second tab over, which is Bench. And that's going to give you an indication of the signal that is currently hitting the detector. Keep in mind, this one may look a little funky of an interferogram because it's a two-color detector, so we're merging and combining the INSBE and the MCT. I like to look at it in peak to peak, so that's just this little option right there. And right now we're about 9.1, 9.2. And that's about what we had when we're going through the 10 meter system. So technically I shouldn't have to do a whole lot of linearization of the detector. It should be pretty close, and it likely is. We do have a procedure to do to relinearize the detector. That's a detailed procedure, and we can send that to you if you need it. So the things that we're going to need to do this, we'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a 9/16 and a 1/2 inch wrench, a couple of hex keys or Allen wrenches, 7/64 and a 5/32. And since we're going to be using or dealing with optics, we should probably put on some gloves. So this is a 10 centimeter cell. It's referred to many different things. 10 centimeter, we call it an 8 centimeter, but actually the optical path, we have found it to be about 7.5 centimeters. All right, so the first thing you'll want to do is to take the top off. And that's going to have to remove all these, not remove, but loosen these screws on top. But again, it's just a Phillips head screwdriver, and these are quarter turn screws. They're not meant to be cranked down too hard. It's just meant to quarter turn to loosen them up. I've already loosened all the other ones, so once you get them loose, you can just pop off the lid. All right, so the 7.5 centimeter cell is going to set right here. So all we're going to do is bypass the 10 meter cell. So the light comes up from the spectrometer, hits this mirror, hits here, will hit here, go straight through and into the detector. To do that, what we do is we're going to remove this transfer optic and set it to the side. And then we're just going to take this transfer optic and move it over to this side. And it'll be at the same angle. And you can kind of see that there's little holes drilled in here. And this is a pin in place movement, so it should go pretty smoothly. But again, first, there are optics around, so throw on some gloves. So the first thing you want to do is just remove this first transfer optic. Again, it's a 7/64 Allen wrench. Fit it in. It's one screw, loosen it up, and it'll pop out. And then just set that to the side. When I'm out in the field or if I'm shipping it and I don't know which cell to use, I will put a piece of lens tissue across the mirror, and then wrap that in bubble wrap and just kind of set it on the side in one of the open areas inside the cell compartment. Now you need to move this outlet transfer optic. Loosen it, and note the kind of the angle that it's at. So you loosen it, and then if you bring it right back over here, it'll just pin right back in place at that same angle. And then tighten it back in. So now if you look at the infrared signal again, it's gone up a little bit. It's at 12. And that's because I've taken the entire 10-meter cell out of the path. The light's not going in to the 10-meter cell anymore. 10-meter cell is right here. So now I want to install the 7.5 centimeter cell. We have this little Pelican case that we use to ship it around. And if you look at the bottom of it, you can see there's one screw and one pin. This is the side that goes towards the detector. So it's going to set in there like this. And it actually, there is a screw down here, screw hole, and it pins in. There's a pin place for it too. So prior to putting it in though, I'm going to go ahead and attach this is a pressure transducer. And it just sets right here. And just screws in. It's a swage lock fitting. And get your 9/16" wrench. Just give it a little, tighten it a little bit. Good to go. Find the screw hole, you'll find the pin, and it sets in like that. So there's a pin on this side of it, and the screw sets on that side. Now you'll need the 5/32, and just tighten this end down. And then it's set, it's not going anywhere. And you can use either one of the ports for inlet or outlet to the cell. I typically use this one. So that's another thing to be aware of. You don't operate this with the lid on. So now I'm going to go ahead and hook in the power to it. So I'm going to power the box down. You can keep the bottom box going if you want. I would probably recommend just taking it out though. And then it's all one connector. So this connection will fit into this connection. So you just got to disconnect it here. And it can be stubborn. And then connect the other part to it. And this will give you your power to the cell heater, as well as the communication for the pressure transducer. Okay, once that's plugged in, you could turn it back on. If you want to heat the cell, you'll have to make another jumper to go from the thermocouple on over to this other thermocouple. Most of our units will, if you've bought a 10-centimeter cell or 7.5 centimeter cell, will come with that jumper as well. So now I got to turn back on, and see that we have a little bit of the signal now is a little bit lower. It's about 5.3, which is lower than what we had in the 10-meter system. It shouldn't be that. It should be a little bit better, a little bit higher. I just used this cell at a site, so it might need to be cleaned. You could also go ahead and adjust this optic again going through and see if you can tweak up any more. It looks like it might have been pretty close to where it was. Nope, there we go. So you can tweak it, and you should be able to get back up to about where you had with the 10-meter system. And it's not even that important though, really. Remind yourself, again, you're looking at high concentration stuff. So you don't really need a whole lot of signal. So again, thank you for your time, and good luck.